with Mila Davis-Kent. It's the first instance of a young black girl who happens to be deaf who is signing on screen. Every day I felt so moved by her, and I feel really excited for people to meet her. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, hello, babes. How are
Hello,
you?
babes. I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
So good. I mean, I'm so excited to do this interview because I'm actually a huge Creed franchise fan. I love it. And I mean, Bianca is such an incredible character. She's so rich. She's so well-rounded. And one of the most important things about her, I guess, is the representation she gives to the deaf community and like the hard of hearing community. Like, that is such an incredible thing to bring to the screen because that level of representation has not really been that prolific or existed in the way it should up until in the last couple of years with Creed. And then you look at the Rihanna Super Bowl performance with the ASL interpreter like going viral and everyone's like, yeah, she's giving. Yeah. Like, how amazing has it been to bring that level of representation to the screen for you?
It's been amazing for me, but I have to say, until this current film, it felt incomplete. You know, there was always a limit to what I could do personally because I'm not a part of that community. You know, and frankly, like even before the cultural conversation shifted around who gets to tell stories, it was always something that made me uncomfortable. You know, Bianca begins as a woman who is hearing and knows eventually that she will have hearing loss that is progressive, but I think we always wanted to be able to actually represent the deaf community, and I was never going to do that. And so the fact that we can have an incredible young actress do that, I think it's the first instance with Mila Davis-Kent. It's the first instance of a young black girl being on screen, a young black girl who happens to be deaf who is signing on screen, and like that to me is the most exciting thing. So it isn't really until this film where Mike and I are continuing again to learn sign language. Our whole cast and crew is trying to learn sign language. Mila's whole family is there with us, and now I'm like, okay, I think we're on to something. We're doing something, and I'm really excited to see, you know, in success if we make more movies where the story gets to go.
How amazing has it been to work with her and to see that representation come to screen for her?
Incredible. Her whole family is deaf. She comes from many, many generations. So, you know, her ability with the language, her skill with the language is astounding, like absolutely astounding. And then also she's just a natural in terms of talent. She's so charismatic. She's so incredibly fearless on screen. She also can box. Like, she's very, very good. She picked it up so quickly. She's hugely, hugely talented. So it's always a fun discovery, I think, when you work on something and you're like, oh, this is like someone's first thing or this is going to break them in a new way. But so that full stop is exciting, but then for it to also happen inside of a community where that opportunity is so rarefied makes it like, I mean, I want to cry thinking about it. Every day I felt so moved by her, and I feel really excited for people to meet her. Yeah.
It's amazing. And when I saw it on screen, the representation, it was so powerful.
Yeah,
she's incredible.
She really is.
In the movie.
She really is. Yeah.
And that's what's so special about the movie, is the level of emotional impact it can really bring. Yeah. It's the punches, it's the fights, it's the adrenaline, but that is what is so special.
I think so too.
About it. And that family unit you built on this movie seems...
Sorry.
Do you want to take a minute?
No, I'm okay. I'm just, this is what happens when I'm jet lagged. My defenses are down. But I'm very excited for people to get to meet her in this film.
Yeah. Do you want a tissue?
Sure.
It's so amazing to have that emotional that relationship to it, though. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm literally her, you know, her stage mom, her pretend mom, but I feel very proud of her. She's like my proxy daughter.
That's what's so amazing about these movies. They do bring up a lot of social issues. And that's what's very impactful about them. That's what I found very impactful about them. Yeah. And they do really bring to the fore so many different social issues. For you, what do you think is like an under-discussed social issue that we all need to be talking about more?
Therapy and dealing with trauma and finding productive ways to deal with trauma and explore one's trauma. So that, I think, is something that is spoken about a bit more in popular culture, which is cool. I think in certain communities there's still some work to do. I think there's, you know, Mike and I spoke about and there's other artists like Kendrick Lamar has spoken a lot
Yeah.
about that in recent times, this idea of just, particularly for Black males, for example, this stigma around getting help when it's needed and therapy and self-examination in that way. And so I think that that's something that's really useful. Funnily, Mike and I did this interesting exercise, which is there was a while when we were developing the script that we were thinking like, oh, are Bianca and Adonis, are they in therapy? What's happening for them? And so we did some therapy sessions as Bianca and Adonis together.
Not.
Yeah, we always find ways to improvise and rehearse, and then we use that in the script. But we did couples therapy together as Bianca and Adonis when we were developing the script. It was so weird and fun. It was really
You're
fun.
going to need to walk me through this. So did you book it under the names of the characters?
We had to let her in on it.
She's like, wow, they are methods.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, and that's also true. But no, she knew. So she knew before, but she was a therapist. She wasn't like an actor. She wasn't like an actor pretending to be a therapist. She was an actual therapist. And we did it partially as us two. We got to talk, but then we also would do sort of improvisation around, what they might be facing, and then work with her on what that would be like if we were in therapy as the characters, what kind of stuff might come up. It was fascinating.
What do you feel like you fought the hardest for in your career?
I mean, something that I haven't fought alone, but I think, and a fight that continues, which is just really about representation. I'm almost bored in how much we have to talk about it, but it happens to be true. I think when I first started working as an actor, there was a lot less opportunity, frankly, for somebody like me in terms of getting to play a character that you could really sink your teeth into. And I think that if we look at sort of what's happening in Hollywood now, I think we're still sort of fighting for that, if I'm honest.
What still frustrates you about the conversations we still have to have about representation?
Well, how long do you have?
Well, we have 30 minutes. So strap on in.
Well, okay, for example, I think there's like these buzzwords like inclusion, for example, or diversity. And I feel like sometimes something that gets missed in a conversation around diversity is diversity of actual thought and presentation and idea, right? So like, I think there becomes a conversation that becomes so myopically focused on like, well, okay, are there people of color on screen? Yes. There need to be people of color on screen, but what gets missed is the nuance of like, what kind of frames do people of color get to exist in? What kind of people do they get to play? Do we get to play with form? And that to me is, I think, a frustrating thing. Is I feel like sometimes the conversation isn't specific enough. But I think those things are changing hugely. I think this year in particular has been a hugely inspiring year, because I think when you think about representation, or there is this focus sometimes inside of communities that you should be hyper focused on representation for the community in which you are a member. And for me, something that has felt super exciting this year, for example, is to see a film like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, Hollywood has been so vile in its portrayal of Asians and Asian Americans, like really harmful, and I think, as someone that cares a lot about diversity and representation, like I have to also care about other communities that I'm not a part of, right? And I think that feels exciting, that I think some of those things are changing and some of those things are being upended, but I would say that's something that still feels like a fight that I'm interested in,
That's what allyship's all about, isn't it? It's not only just showing up for your own community, it's showing up for other communities too.
Absolutely, because we're also interconnected. I mean, there's so much connective tissue, even though we, need to like understand the nuances of whatever our own communities need, right? We're not a monolith. We can't just be built. That's why I hate when I talk like marginalized. You're like, well, which margin are you on, right?
Which margin am I in today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There has to be specificity, but there also has to be a sense of investment in the struggle of others, I think.
We do need to quickly talk about that double denim full flare look that she wears at the end.
Oh, yes.
With the big old pussy bow blouse. I was like, oh my God, Brittany and Justin, move over. That is an iconic look.
This is a testament to Mike, because I will say he is very specific about clothing.
Yeah.
You might not know. I've worked with a lot of directors who happen to be men, and they don't know. They're just like, just just make sure she has clothes on, and those are the good ones. But then there's Mike, which is a very rare thing, which is he really is like not just clothes. He's like he really down to the detail, the minutia, the button, the bow. He really was so specific. Which
who knew?
Who knew? Well, now you know.
Now we know. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
And looking to the future, I can't wait to see what you do next. But one thing I really do need is
Tell me.
Standalone Marvel movie.
Are
we manifesting this?
I haven't put it on a vision board, but for you, I will.
Thank you.
Or you put it on a vision board.
I'll put it on the vision board for you.
Okay.
And I'll work on it.
Okay.
And then you can let me know when it comes through.
I will yeah. We'll be back here
We'll
again.
be back here discussing it. I'll be like, well, here was the vision board.
Yeah. I'll be here just crying about something else. I'm happy to do. I love making those movies. Yeah. So who knows?
And you've been so great today. But
hey, you're an absolute hoot.
We're hoots.
I know. Look at us, just two hoots hooting. Just two hooters.
Now, it's becoming like a Hooters commercial now. But we always end on this question, and that is, in the reign of your life, what is the one rule you'll always live by?
Take a bath. Just make sure that you bathe. Clean your bits.
It's actually very metaphorical because you clean the bits and you clean your mind at the same time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I live by clean your room. That wasn't always the case, but now I clean my room. I clean my bits and I clean my room all the time. I always clean my bits, but now I'm also cleaning my room. I'm doing the things that my parents always told me to do. And no one tells me except myself. I am my own mom.